Hi, my name is Mike Cundall, and I'm up here at Wooden Shop Traditional Woodworking School. And I'm going to be talking to you about bowl carving and spoon carving, as well as the tools that are used in traditional green woodworking. And I'm doing this to talk to you a bit about some courses that I'll be teaching for Wooden Shop on bowl and spoon carving. So I want to show you some of the bowls that I've carved before, and I'm just going to bring you a range of them. They're in various states. So right here you kind of have, and this is a Poplar Bowl, kind of in the style of a more traditional bread bowl for baking, dough bowl, that sort of thing. You can see the work on the sides, the nice spalting that came with it that gives the wood some nice texture. It was a fun build, a fun design, and I enjoyed it. And then moving on, got another little poplar bowl, well, not little, nice poplar bowl right here that I did some side panels on. And I was able to do some relief carving and my first try or attempt at painting a bowl to give it just a different sort of look. So as you might be able to see, there's a lot of things that you can do with different types of wood and this sort of thing. This was one of my first bowls. This is some spalted river birch, and I love it. It's wonderfully kind of wonky and fun, and it's just got a lovely rich texture from the spalting, and it's one of the first 6 that I ever made, and it's one I've kept. Now, this bowl, and a bowl a little bit further down, this is where you would go at the end of the course. Because it's green wood and because it's wet, you can't take it down to a final size like you would see in this bowl. So what you do is you kind of get it down to a rough state that's got a little bit of weight so that the wood can dry out, and then you'll come back with some chisels, which we'll discuss later on in the video, to do our refining cuts to make the shape less, to smooth out the shape and the curves and this sort of thing. This bowl was done, if you look at your round log, this bowl was done with the pith being up. So if this is the round, I split the wood in half, and I started making my hole in the bowl from that center part down, which is distinct from this bowl, which is, again, it's poplar. I love to work with poplar. It's a fun wood. It's easy to carve. This one, the round, the bark side of the bowl is up. That's where I began, and that's how I was able to get this kind of nice, shallow recess in the bowl. That's kind of what gives it its feature, because when you lay out your oval or your circle on the top, you're able to get this nice shape. Moving on, in a bowl that's kind of in some interesting, I'm not sure I'm going to keep this painting, but it's walnut. And this is a circular layout, again, bark side up, and it's to a place right now where I'm going to do some finishing carving on it. I think this one is maple, and here I was just playing with how to do more side panels. So like that other one that I painted, what I did is I came here and I made these sharp, straight panels just to see what sort of shape I could get. And this final bowl was just a fun piece from a piece of wood, a piece of magnolia that I got from the campus that I work on, and it just had this wonderful color, as you can see, this nice variegating. And it's a little bowl, but it's quite pretty, and as you can see, you can get some wonderful shapes out of it. So when you're doing bowls and spoons, bowls, you can work with a variety of tools with bowls. Typically, you're going to work with the adze, and this is for hewing out and clearing out the way so you can get your concavity. And there are a variety of tool makers out there. Both of these adzes are made by smaller tool makers, and they're wonderful to work with. You also get to use, if you can, the axe or the carving hatchet. So when you're working on your carving stump, you sit here and you've got your round, and you'll take it, and you'll split it, and that becomes the basis, the blanks for your bowl. But you would also use the carving hatchet to work on how to get your spoon shapes. So what I've got over here are some of the spoons that I've worked on. And the wonderful thing about spoons is that you're allowed to use kind of the shape that's in the wood. So this spoon, if you can see, has a little bit of a bend. and it's got a little bit of a bend here. These are the crooks of the trees. And you can kind of work with the grain, and literally work with the grain to develop some fun shapes. So this is a little bit of piece of cherry from where my house is, and I just had fun making this one. Another piece that's from that same tree, kind of a midway between a serving spoon and an eating spoon. It's a little big for eating. I tend to gravitate more towards serving spoons, and so I have fun playing with the shapes of the head and how you form them. But what you get is some wonderful lines. It's enjoyable to touch because of the facets that your knives leave. So one of the things that you do once you've got your blank is you'll have your carving knife, right? And in the class we'll be covering things like how to use the carving knife, certain ways to hold it, how to use it safely. And this is what you would do to make your final shapes, right? You'd hold it here, come down, you can come in here, you can work it this way, and all these things would be covered when we talk about spoons. A good carving knife is worth it. And here are just some other head shapes. You can see with these two that it's kind of a variation on a theme. So I was playing around with a shape, and I tended to gravitate more towards this one, for whatever reason. But they're wonderful spoons. They're fun. I like them. I haven't given them away yet, so that tells you something. You get to really be creative, and then you can copy other people's work too, right? So this is a design based on a spoon carver named Anna Casserly. I don't do it quite the justice that it needs, but it was fun to do and to learn from. And so one of the things that's really important, what I enjoy so much from working with the bowls and this sort of thing, is that when I get to work with the bowls and play around, I get to explore things that I don't normally do in my everyday woodworking. This is really about exploring shape and form and telling and working with what the wood gives you. So that's some of the stuff that we would cover in the class, and I want to talk to you a little bit more specifically about the tools that we'll use in the class. Green woodworking, one of the basic things that you need with green woodworking is a shave horse, and that's a foot-powered vise that you sit on that you can use with a draw knife or a spoke shave. Here, and there are all sorts of different variations of these fellows out there on the market. And you can use that to break down stock to a rough shape, or do your refining cuts. And Joshua's going to have a class on shave horse building at some point in the summer here at Wooden Shop, and probably carried on through that. When you get the green wood, the nice thing is you don't have to wait for it to dry. You just cut it, find it on the side of the road, and you come back to your carving stump and move back over here, and there are some things that you use in your carving stump, right? So you've got your hatchet. That's going to be something that you use to carve, to get your rough shapes out, but you can also use a larger axe if you're going to do some more heavy splitting work. So this is just one that I picked up, and I'm very fond of it. It's got a nice flat back here so that if I want to split wood and I don't have a wedge with me, I can use it. So that's some of the stuff that we're able to do. But when you're splitting, you can use wooden wedges that you've made from, hopefully hickory, because it's really nice and hard, but pretty much anything will do as long as it's dry, or more traditional metal wedges that you can get at any hardware store, okay? There's the hammer and the froe. So the froe is a splitting tool. So if I had my wood sitting up here, I would kind of lightly score it, and then I would take my froe and give it a nice big whack with my wooden mallet here, and it would help split the wood. So when you're trying to break down the parts to give you yourself blanks for spoons or for bowls, the froe and the wooden hammer are two of the things that you use in order to accomplish those goals. It doesn't have to be a particularly large toolkit. You just need an axe, carving hatchet, a couple of knives. When you're doing spoons, there are some things that we can work on, and I'll bring up some of my stuff for doing when I do more of my fine work, because when you get to the point that your bowl is dried out, you're going to use things like carving chisels, right? And there are a variety of makers. And really, all you need are a couple of different carving chisels, a little bit of a sweep or an arc there, and then you've got the arc. And there are all sorts of websites and online sources that can help you understand what the various arcs mean, because it can be a little bit intimidating when you first start. But then you've also got things like the hook knife, So the hook knife is just like what it sounds. It's a knife with a hook in it. And this is used for hollowing out the recesses in the bowls of your spoons. And it's a nice way to get down in certain spoons to get in there. And you'll notice that this eating spoon doesn't have a very deep bowl. You don't really want a deep bowl in an eating spoon. But on something like a serving spoon, you do, because you're serving or ladling out stuff, right? So one of the other things that's really important when you're doing green woodworking are ways to mark on the wood. Because green wood is wet, Veritas makes this, and I don't get paid for telling them about Veritas there. They make some wonderful pencils that you can mark on green wood out of an ink that stays on the green wood. And it's so helpful. You can see here in this bowl where I've drawn out my lines to give myself a place to cut and carve to. That's really helpful, and these pencils are part of that. So I hope that with everything that we've covered today, that you're able to get an understanding of how it is green woodworking works, specifically with bowls and spoons, and some of the tools that you might need to use to do this craft effectively and to have fun with it. Because the nice thing is you can walk in the woods and find a piece of wood on the ground and make a wonderful spoon. So I invite you to come take my class, visit Wooden Shop's website, find out more about it, and thank you for your time.
This is Joshua Farnsworth. If you're interested in learning traditional woodworking with hand tools, visit my website at woodandshop.com, where you can find free video tutorials, workshop tours of amazing traditional woodworkers, and tool buying guides. You can ask questions and share your projects with thousands of woodworkers on my free traditional woodworking forum. Make sure you subscribe to my regular blog posts, and also check out my 10 steps for getting started in traditional woodworking. Enjoy!